Trump talked about the G2 again. This idea is so interesting that America desperately wanted. Europe lost sleep over, and China tried to avoid. So, what's really behind it? The term G2 first appeared in 2008 when the United States was struggling through the global financial crisis and urgently needed other countries to keep buying US debt to fund its massive rescue plan. At that time, China was America's largest creditor. Through a strong 4 trillion yuan stimulus package, roughly $2 trillion today, China not only stabilized its own economy but also became the first major engine driving the global recovery. The US government realized that China had, to some extent, helped to save the American economy, and that's when economist Fred Bergsten designed the concept of the G2. The core of the G2 idea had two main goals. First, private decision-making, turn the US-China narrative into the central mechanism of global governance. For any international issue, there would be no need for endless debates in the UN or at the multilateral forums. US-China rules are the international rules, period. The second one, more responsibility, pushed China to take on global responsibilities matching its economic size. In other words, since China was now seen as a co-leader of the world, it should share the burden, just like the US, in maintaining the international order with its strengths. You see, at first glance, this looked like the US was willing to share global power with China. Even recognizing China's rise, President Obama loved the idea so much, he made it part of US national strategy. But to a country with 5,000 years of political history, China saw it clearly. This was just a trick to make China work like a black slave for the US, doing the hardest labor for smallest reward, while America stayed the plantation owner, making money through finance and military dominance. In practical terms, Obama's plan was to lure China into giving up military and technological independence and fully integrating into a US-led global system. Under this setup, China would be locked into the role of world factory and financial supplier. The danger of the G2 concept was that it tied China's economic future to American consumption, creating a cycle where saving the US means saving yourself. At the same time, it would alienate China from other countries, especially Europe, because if G2 truly worked, the world would be divided and dominated by the US and China, leaving anyone else bullied and powerless. If only the United States could exploit the world in the last few decades, imagine what would happen if America and China tried to rule the world together. But this kind of divide and conquer scheme is nothing new. Even 2,253 years ago, the ancient Chinese already played this game. In 228 BC, King Zhao of Qin declared himself West Emperor and named the King of Qi as East Emperor, pretending to share power while actually trying to split Qi from its allies and destroy the coalition. In short, it's a classic political manipulation. So back in 2008, China firmly rejected the G2 idea, bluntly saying it was a pile of crap. If Obama wants it, he can eat it himself. Interestingly, 17 years later, Trump tried to revive the same idea in a new form. But as the Chinese saying goes, who would eat a cake full of maggots? Follow me on Eastern Perspective to see the world out.